ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्. So we have chapter 3 we have started, and the first paragraph and the second one we had already completed. Let me start with the question. What is the meaning of Ajita? Why is Krishna called Ajita?
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Mataji.
is unconquerable, Mataji. That's why he's called Sita.
Yes. Who has answered this? Nandini Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. And one more Mataji was trying to answer. Can she answer why Krishna is called unconquerable?
Mataji, Hare Krishna. I think
Sarita.
he cannot be, yeah. So the Lord cannot be conquered by any of the jnana or mental speculation. So only by bhakti he gets conquered. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Mataji. Now, moving to the second paragraph, the question is, by what process this second paragraph talks about? Specifically in the bhakti, which process it talks about for conquering or knowing the Lord?
Hearing Mataji by the
Hearing,
lips of
yes. Thank
devotee.
you. Thank you. Ramya Mataji's answered. Hearing process. So now, let us discuss a little bit about hearing. Every one of us who are here today, who knows a bit about Krishna consciousness and are practicing, everyone has started our practice through hearing only. There is no doubt about it. Every one of us has heard about Krishna through someone, some devotee has introduced to us. Even if someone like me can, I have personally come to Krishna consciousness through reading Prabhupada books. But what is that reading? That is hearing from Prabhupada only, right? In the form of in his written work, he has spoken to us, and we have heard from him. So that is also coming under hearing only. So this process specifically here it says submissive hearing. Right? Even in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is hearing about Krishna through whom? Krishna himself. So that is a standard that Arjuna has set us for how to hear submissive hearing. And till the time Arjuna doesn't show that submissiveness, Krishna doesn't even speak much. In Bhagavad Gita, if you see, once Arjuna says, Shishyasteham, Shadi Mam Tvam Prapannam. He says, I'm submitting to you, I'm surrendering unto you. Accept me as your disciple now. Don't see me as a friend. We have been friends all through, but now see me as your disciple. I am taking a humble position to hear from you. That is when Krishna starts speaking. Till that time, Krishna is a charioteer. And Krishna is just listening to Arjuna, whatever he is speaking, whatever confusions he is expressing, he's just listening to them because he's the charioteer, and charioteer listens to whatever the passenger is still telling. Unless he is asking for advice, and that too in a submissive manner, till then Krishna doesn't give much advice also. So many people, many of us, we go to temples, we do pray, right? We in our heads we are thinking we are praying. Actually, we are only expressing ourselves, our problems, our pains, our desires, whatever, and we are not even thinking about what do you say, Krishna. This is what is my thoughts. I am thinking these are my miseries, these are my problems, and these are the so-called solutions that I am thinking of. Now, I want to know from you. I am your servant. Now, instruct me submissively if we ask. And then the answers will come through some bona fide representative of the Lord. Till that time, we think that these are the problems and these are the solutions. Krishna, now solve my problems with these solutions only. I already know the solution, but now you do it for me. If that is the kind of uh, prayer that we have, which is not even prayer actually. It is just going and expressing ourselves, our minds, our so-called minds, how it is playing with us. That is expression of our own minds to Krishna. But submissive hearing is what is required to know Krishna, to conquer him, to be accepted as his devotee. So devotee, what he prays for acceptance of Krishna as we want to be Krishna's servant and Krishna has to accept us. So this is our prayer. Then we will be able to understand Krishna, what he wants from us, how he wants us to navigate through this material life here and somehow complete our duties in the way it pleases Krishna and go back to Krishna and serve him eternally. So that has to come through hearing, the process of hearing. And Krishna will reciprocate. Krishna will speak for us to hear what is his plan for us through bona fide representatives. And not only that, even Krishna likes to hear. Many examples are there in Bhagavatam and other scriptures where many devotees have perfected the process of hearing. We already know Parikshit Maharaj. He heard for 7 days and 7 nights continuously without eating and drinking. And he was not even sleeping. He was just hearing and perfected his life in 7 days. And we also know that the one who was speaking Bhagavatam, who was that? Sukadeva Goswami. How he started his bhakti? By hearing, and that too when he was in the womb of his mother. He was hearing from his father, Vyasadev, who was speaking Bhagavatam. And he heard it from the womb of his mother. And that is how he has become a very good preacher. So, to speak about Bhagavatam also, or to speak about Krishna consciousness, to become a preacher, it starts with being a good listener, very attentive hearing. Whoever hears it, they are the ones, they develop detachment first of all. Like how Sukdev Goswami, he was hearing to Bhagavatam, and what he developed, he did not develop this great desire to become a preacher and have followers. What was his desire? He was only afraid of Maya more and more. More he heard, more he became afraid of Maya. And he was not even ready to come out of the womb of his mother because he thought, once I go out, this Maya will attack me. This is the safest place that I am in. Here, I can hear. Here, I can hear. He was thinking, this is safest place, womb of my mother, where these senses, they cannot get direction from Maya and act weirdly. Here, I'm very much conscious about who I am. I am servant of Krishna. By the time I will be out of this place, then I start seeing around and think, this is my father, this is my mother. I have so many false designations about myself and surroundings, and Maya will conquer very easily. So that is what hearing does. Hearing does not make us desire anything more. It actually makes us fearful of Maya. If anyone is actually hearing, submissively hearing, that is the result. Of course, he comes out and also he's so detached because of his strong hearing and strong conviction. A devotee actually is not fearful of anything, anyone, they say, no? That is one of the qualities of a devotee, that he's not fearful, he's fearless. But only one thing he fears. What is that? Maya. And Prabhupada says, my disciples, they are not sufficiently fearful of Maya. That is one concern that I have. He used to say that. Should be fearful of Maya. And once one disciple asked Prabhupada, are you fearful of Maya? Prabhupada said, no. And the other time, the same disciple was watching Prabhupada is praying in front of the deities. And he gathered some courage and asked Prabhupada, what were you praying? Prabhupada said, I'm praying to Krishna that he protect me from Maya. Then he said, just now, just a few days ago, you said you're not fearful of Maya. And now you are saying you're praying to Krishna that he should protect you from Maya. Why? Prabhupada said, I am not fearful of Maya because I pray to Krishna always that he should protect me from Maya. And Krishna protects me. I know that Krishna will protect me. That's why I'm not fearful of Maya. So that much fear we should always have to seek Krishna's protection all the time from Maya. And then understand that Krishna will protect us. That confidence also. Okay, chalo. Then we'll start moving towards the third paragraph. So first paragraph says Krishna is unconquerable. We cannot know him through mental speculation. And second says through submissive hearing only the Lord can be conquered. And I just spoke little about what hearing actually does. It gives us detachment and it gives us fear of Maya. And we then pray to the Lord and stay protected. So that is what is submission. It leads us to submission to Krishna. And then we hear more, of course, within that submissive mode only. It's not that we hear to preach, we hear to become more and more protected. And then, if we preach, if Krishna wants us to preach, Krishna gives us the empowerment and words to preach, it's up to Him. We are dependent on Him, we are just submitting to Him. Third paragraph is important one. Who is going to read?
I will read, Mataji.
Yes, Matthew, thank you.
According to Brahma Samhita, there are two ways of acquiring knowledge, the ascending process and the descending process. By the ascending process, one is elevated by knowledge acquired by himself. In this way, one thinks, I don't care for any authorities or books. I will attain knowledge myself by meditation, philosophy, etc. In this way, I will understand God. The other process, the descending process, involving receiving knowledge from higher authorities. Brahma Samhita states that if one takes to the ascending process and travels at the speed of mind and wind for millions of years, he will still end up not knowing. For him, the subject matter will remain elusive and inconceivable. But that subject
Inconceivable.
matter is inconceivable.
Inconceivable. Right.
Inconceivable. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
But that subject matter is given in Bhagavad Gita. Ananya Cheta. Krishna says to meditate on him without deviation from the path of devotional service in submission. For one who worships him in this way, tasyaham sulabham. I became easily available. This is the process. If one works for Krishna 24 hours a day, Krishna cannot forget him. By becoming submissive, he can attract the attention of God. As Guru Maharaj Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati used to say, don't try to see God. Is God to come and stand before us like a servant just because we want to see him? That is not the submissive way. We have to oblige him by our love and service.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Thank you so much. So, if we have heard what Mataji has read very attentively, there are two processes of acquiring knowledge. What are they?
Ascending and descending.
Ascending and descending process. Ascending process means he will want to know about Krishna by doing what?
Himself.
Himself by reading some books. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to read any authoritative books, but he will try to meditate and develop his own concoction, his own philosophy. And he will think that I will try to understand God in that way. And descending process means receiving knowledge from the higher authorities. So why is it that receiving knowledge from higher authority is more safer? Because these authorities, they have already tried and tested and done everything, and they have succeeded in finding Krishna and knowing Krishna and knowing the relationship with Krishna. And then when we know from them, it is like a very, first of all, easy, and second of all, less time consuming. We did not go again through all other processes and then find which the other processes also. They Brahma Samhita, in Brahma himself is telling, even if you try for millions of years, you will end up knowing nothing. And Brahma also says, we know, I know very little about Krishna. So even these higher authorities, when they when they take the process of bhakti and try to know Krishna for long time, they are so humble. They say, we know only very little. And in the ascending process, what is happening? From the beginning itself, there was no humility. It is only that I will know it based on, depending on my senses, the power of my senses, and how much are the senses capable of. If there is no sunlight, we cannot even see anything. Eyes are there, but we are mostly it is like a blind person's life only. So, what is the eyes that we are depending on, that I will know Krishna by my senses? By if I see God, then only I will accept that there is God. So, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur's a line that Prabhupada is repeating here, that don't try to see God. Is if God is God to come and stand before us? Yes, sir. You wanted to see me. I'm your servant. Just see me now. Is it that? No. Krishna will say, Krishna is the most smartest person, right? He will say, okay, you think that you will see me, you will make me present before you, then only you will believe that I am there. He will say, don't believe, I am not there. I will never be seen to you. Krishna can hide himself. He has that power himself, and also he has got that right not to be shown, not to be seen with those who do not believe in him. Right? If I tomorrow say that I don't believe there is President of India, let him or her come and stand before me. The president will, she will say, okay, I'm not there. Don't believe. What is there? What am I losing? Krishna is there, and Krishna is having nice reciprocations with his devotees all the time. Why will he have to take out time for someone who is a non-devotee, who doesn't even believe in Krishna, uh, to be away from his devotees and come to be present to this person so that he or she will believe? Krishna will never do that. But Krishna is very merciful to even non-devotees who says that we don't believe in you. What he does, he sends his representatives one after the other, all the time, in every yuga. And he makes Kali Yuga, because the people are most degraded, the process of Kali Yuga to be known, for Krishna to be known, the process, he makes it to be very, very easy and effective one. That is chanting and hearing and dancing and feasting on his for prasadam, by giving prasadam and by giving association of devotees. This he makes it very enjoyable, easy, and engaging. The way Kali Yuga people can take it, whether grihasthas or brahmacharis or vanaprasthas or sannyasis. He doesn't even demand that you leave your household activities and meditate like in Satya Yuga. That is a mercy of the Lord. So Krishna's mercy is in giving the process, the descending process by which he can be known. Otherwise, he will is not easily available. But for whom he is easily available? For one who worships in this way. Tasyaham sulabha partha, he will say in Bhagavad Gita. I am very easy for them to obtain. Just be humble and try to understand from higher authorities. We see many times, even in chanting also, the day we find a fault with anyone, or we feel that I am doing this, the karta bhava, the doer mentality, or I am being the one who is helping others, anything that comes into our mind as I and mine is there in prominence, without having this humble attitude that Krishna, I chose to be here, leaving you, and still you want me to come back to you so many facilities you are giving me. Grateful and humble attitude we have one day, and the other day if you have fault finding and uh, ahankara attitude, which day you think the chanting will be better? For chanting there was
Humble
only one
Mataji.
secret, yeah. Only one secret that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Trinadapi Sunichena. The day you feel humbler, the mood is humbler, the chanting will be very effective and we can hear to the holy name very easily. Actually, chanting is hearing. If we are chanting but not hearing, chanting is not happening. So one devotee used to say, I request you to hear your rounds. He never used to say chant your rounds. I request you to hear your rounds. When we'll be able to hear very easily and because the process is anyway hearing, that has been told from the beginning now. If we hear to the holy names that we are chanting with our mouth and hearing through the ear, that is when it becomes very effective, and that is possible when we are humble. Without humility, we can't even hear to our own chanting the names of the Lord. Krishna will hide in the form of name also he will hide. You may say that I am saying and I am hearing. No. Krishna has the right. If you are not humble, you may be chanting, but you will not be able to hear whatever you are chanting. The concentration, the focus will be somewhere else. And you may be hearing so many other things around, but not to the holy name that you are chanting. Okay, so when I'm saying you, don't mind, because anyone, it is anyone, me, you, and every practicing devotee I'm talking about. So uh, this process of hearing, I was telling that even Krishna, he also follows the process of hearing, right? Can anyone think of an example where Krishna was hearing very attentively? Any pastime? Okay. How Krishna becomes Jagannath? The form of Jagannath, how Krishna gets that?
When Hare Krishna Mataji,
Hare Krishna.
when Rohini Mataji was telling some leelas to all the gopis and all,
Yeah,
at that
specific.
time,
Yes, yes. You continue.
that only Mataji, at that time Subhadra Mataji was guarding, and she also involved in that. So Krishna and Balram will come and listen to that pastime, and they will become statues like that.
Mm.
I know that much only, Mataji.
Thank you, Ramya Mataji. Thank you for telling us this. Hmm. So Krishna, um, he's there in Kurukshetra, okay? So once he leaves Vrindavan, he goes to Dwaraka, all that Leela happens. He marries so many beautiful wives who are queens of his now, and as a householder, king, he is now having the duty of setting an example to his citizens, how householders would behave, right? So there is one place in Kurukshetra called Brahma Sarovar. So whenever there is a solar eclipse, it is mentioned in Shastras that householders should come and take a dip in that Sarovar. So he, to set an example of how a householder should lead his life around Shastras, he, along with all his queens, his entourage, he comes to Kurukshetra on the solar eclipse day. And the same time, Vrindavan Vasis, who have been in separation of Krishna for a long time, they also come to know that Krishna is coming with his entourage to Kurukshetra. So there is a very beautiful pastime that happens, that Vrindavan Vasis also come, the Dwaraka Vasis come, Krishna come from Dwaraka, Radharani and Gopis come from Vrindavan. And what they see there, Krishna is in this big king's form. He's not in a small cowherd, simple cowherd boy form. No peacock feather, no flute. He's in a royal attire now. And the gopis, they are having their own uh, process of thinking about how they are still missing Krishna, because Krishna is not in that attire that they expected. Here he has so many queens and so many children, so many responsibilities. And at the same time, the Dwarkavasis, the queens also, they were already knowing that Krishna misses Vrindavan so much, his Vrajavasis he misses so much, because even while sleeping, Krishna start to chant the gopis' names, specifically Radharani's name. He's sleeping on the same bed as the queen, and the queen is only hearing Radha Nam all the time from Krishna's mouth. And they also used to think that what is this? What is that love that Vrajavasis give him, which we are unable to give? Why Krishna misses them so much? So when Vrajavasis come there and they see how Vrajavasis react, how they are seeing Krishna, they can't understand much, because that is Vraja Prema. That is minus any Aishwarya Bhav. And here they have Aishwarya Bhav. So they can't understand each other's Bhav. And they are puzzled a bit. And all the queens, the principal queens at least, they go to Rohini Mata. Rohini Mata has seen both Vraja Leela and Dwarka Leela, no? So Rohini was there in Vrindavan also while Krishna and Balram were growing up. And then when Krishna moved to Dwarka, Rohini was again there also. So she's the only one who knows both a set of devotees with different bhavas. So the queens asks her, but she says, I can tell about the feelings, the bhava, explain in detail about the how Brajavasis worship Krishna, how they see Krishna, how they love Krishna. I can tell that, but if Krishna hears it, he will not be able to retain his form of being a king and being your husband. It will be difficult for him. So someone has to guard that Krishna and Balram doesn't come. So that is where Ramya Mataji was telling, right? Subhadra Mataji was guarding, but Subhadra herself, by hearing about the Vraja Prema, the pastimes of Vrajavasis, how they love Krishna, what are their feelings towards Krishna, how pure and unconditional, simple and humble they are towards Krishna, she becomes stunned. She even forgets that she's there to guard that Krishna and Balram should not come there. But meanwhile, Krishna and Balram comes, they also start hearing these pastimes of how gopis love Krishna from the mouth of Rohini Devi. So here the Rohini Devi is a higher authority that Subhadra Mai and Krishna and Balram, they have surrendered through the hearing process, and they are hearing, and Krishna, Balram and Subhadra Mai transform their forms into what we see as Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra. So the transformation is so visible, you see, when we say that by the process of hearing, we transform. But we transform in us, not the physical way, right? But Krishna himself, he transforms and shows us in a way that is so prominent that hearing process will bring about such change. His eyes become so large. The hands are moving inside, and Subhadramai, the hands are already inside. Legs, they can't even move. Legs start going inside. So that is how this is called as some symptoms of ecstasy. These symptoms come about by the process of very submissive and attentive hearing. So today we are discussed about how this hearing process, it is so important. We have seen some examples, and we've seen Krishna's example himself, how he's showing us that this process can actually transform us. We all know also that before coming to Krishna consciousness, we were such and such and did such and such things. Now we don't have that taste for so many things and so many other so-called material enjoyments. How this transformation came about? It came about through hearing. And anytime we have more desire towards a materialistic life, we should understand that the process of hearing is now getting weaker. So that is a one symptom that whenever our hearing goes down, it goes weaker. Immediately the material desires sprung up. That is Maya, right? So who is fearful of Maya, they should hear attentively. And they should pray to Krishna that please give me association where I can hear about you and be protected from Maya all the time. Okay, so one question from this particular paragraph. By becoming submissive, what can one attract?
Krishna's mercy, Mataji.
Yeah, he can attract the attention of Krishna. See? He can attract the attention of Krishna. And he said that, Prabhupada said that the subject matter otherwise will become elusive and inconceivable, no? What is meaning of elusive? So the dictionary meaning is not easy to catch, not easy to find, not easy to remember. Without submission and without uh, hearing the descending process, the subject matter is elusive. We cannot catch it, we cannot find it, and we cannot remember it. But by the process of becoming humble, what happens? Krishna is attracted. We attract the attention of Krishna. So we can't remember Krishna, but by becoming a submissive servant, always engaged 24 hours, Prabhupada says. If one is in this way, works for Krishna 24 hours a day, Krishna cannot forget us. We cannot remember Krishna by our efforts, by ascending process, but by descending process, Krishna cannot forget us. That is, Krishna always remembers us. See how beautiful it is. This is the only way, right? I cannot remember you, Krishna. That's what many great scholars, great devotees have written in their poems and articles that I cannot remember Krishna. It is beyond me. You only remember me as your servant. So, and by this process, if 24 hours one is engaged, Krishna cannot forget him. Krishna always remembers. So, we also want to remember Krishna always. We always say this, right? Remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. But we cannot depend upon our own strength to do it. By Krishna's mercy only. If Krishna remembers us, then only we can remember him. So what the maximum we can do is we can work for Krishna 24 hours a day. The way Krishna wants us to engage in service, hearing, chanting, the 9 processes of devotional services are given for us to be always engaged in Krishna's service 24 hours a day, even while sleeping. That is a very higher bhakti level that these great authorities reach. Even in sleep, they remember only Krishna. So we are trying, we are praying, we are afraid of Maya, and we know when Maya will spring up, because when our hearing is weaker, so we cling to the process of hearing very tight and pray to Krishna that please Krishna, never forget me as your devotee. I want to be your devotee. Accept me and never let me forget you. With this, I will stop today for today. And tomorrow we see how our previous acharyas, they have prayed and how they have shown their humility, their submissiveness, so that we can take inspiration from them. The humility is a key. This is a secret of all the services and all the processes, whether it is hearing or chanting. Humility is a key. And how it has been exhibited by our acharyas, we will see tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Then we have 1 minute. Any question?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Rohini Mataji.
Very nice explanation, Mataji. I just remembered the, real time, story of a Mataji, like, how Krishna, how she was remembered to chant Krishna's name by he remembering her. So you might know, right? So when Mataji, she's from Mayapur. I mean, she's from somewhere Europe or somewhere, but she was living in Mayapur and she was about to help to one old devotee, but she fell sick and she was admitted in hospital and all her like body parts were not working, and she was trying to remember Krishna but not able to remember. But her mother came into her memory, but everybody is coming except Krishna. But she was thinking like this is not whom I have to remember. She was trying hard, but and she was crying. I think nurse or the doctor, they reminded him, her, like, why are you crying? Why don't you chant Hare Krishna? Then she remembered, to chant the names of